Welcome back to my channel. You already know it's your boyhood digital, the rock reactor, back with another video. Yes, sir. Before I begin, before I proceed, let me know where you tapping in from. Let me know what country, what city, what mountain, what hill, what cave, what island, what planet, what universe. Let me know where you at. Represent your hood. Yes, sir. A world of love to my Ukraine, an abundance of peace, well deserved to my Ukraine, hopefully coming soon. As I stand with God, I stand with Ukraine. Yes, sir. Well deserved because it's been too long already since you guys have had peace. What was it? Since 2021, I believe, when the war started. That's a lot of agony. I can imagine all those years of agony, not only for Ukrainians and their families, for the whole families, all the destruction of infrastructure. I can imagine everything that's been destroyed. And I also can imagine all the years that it's going to take to get Ukraine back together again, to get all the families together, to get all the infrastructure, all those buildings. I can imagine a lot of historic sites, historic buildings, historic monuments that have been destroyed. So this brings me to this. More terrible days begin for Russians. I hate to be happy at or rejoice at somebody else's agony. But I think it's well deserved because it's been too long. I mean, Russians have done a lot of damage in Ukraine, man. We got to keep it real. I mean, I am not for or advocating for innocent Russian citizens to lose their lives in any way, because then I do not want peace. I do want peace, but sometimes peace is achieved only through war. And it's crazy because the Kremlin, they have the citizens' lives in their hands, and they could just stop the war and move forward towards a peace process. Anyway, guys, let's get right to it, man. Let's get right to it. And before we do, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the description. More terrible days begin for Russians. Ukraine rains hellfire on Russia. Slava Ukraine. Let's get right to it.
If the SVO in Ukraine continues in its current format, without a decisive military defeat of the Ukrainian armed forces, the Russian population must be prepared for an increase in Ukrainian missile and drone strikes, even without American long-range weapons. This view was expressed by Russian military volunteer Alexei Zivov. According to him, the Kiev regime already has the necessary weapons.
And this is, mind you, this is a Russian operative that is saying it. This is somebody on the Russian side saying this.
For this. If we're not ready to end this military conflict with decisive military actions right now, then we need to prepare for missiles and drones of various types to fly into Russian territory, their range and power constantly increasing. We need to be prepared for this, Zivov stated. He added that the transfer of American Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine cannot be definitively ruled out. However, he stated that their use would be impossible without the participation of American specialists. As a reminder, it was previously reported that the United States has no current plans to transfer Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. However, as military experts note, Washington has ample other weapons that it could share with Ukraine. It should be added that long-range drones of the Ukrainian armed forces currently attack targets deep within Russian territory on an almost daily basis. The primary focus is currently on hitting oil refineries. Ukraine's air offensive is not new, of course. Kiev has been bombing Russia's critical infrastructure. Technological advances and increased industrial output have made it possible for Kiev to significantly expand the bombardment of Russian cities. The Kiev's goal is to make life unbearable for Russian civilians and increase the pressure on the country's political leadership for peace. In this case, Russia's increasingly dead.
It's crazy. It's crazy that Ukraine has to resort to this. I know they probably do not want to, because at the end of the day, it's innocent citizens. Even though they're Russians, they're innocent citizens that probably do not like Putin. They probably hate this fucking guy. They probably hate the Kremlin. But unfortunately, it's like they're holding them hostage. As you can see, that Ukraine is using the tactic to make the citizens' life unbearable until they can be no more, until the Kremlin has to say, well, that's it. We have to stop this war. And the main question remains, how far are they willing to go? How far? How much are they willing to risk their citizens' lives, their infrastructure, all the money that they're losing? And then they're not even thinking about, after all this destruction, how much time is it going to take to rebuild? Because they're not even thinking about that.
The drone campaign is having a demoralizing impact on the population throughout Ukraine. But Ukraine's dynamic defense tech sector is developing a range of potentially effective interceptor drone models, but large-scale production is crucial. This will require decisive measures from the Ukrainian authorities to identify the most effective solutions and provide the necessary backing in a timely fashion. Kiev's partners can also contribute to this process by supplying interceptor drones and financing the manufacture of domestic models. In addition to interceptor drones, some analysts see promise in the expanded use of helicopters and perhaps even propeller planes to shoot down Russian drones. Propeller planes may be particularly well suited to this task, offering an economically viable alternative to the use of jet fighters while operating at speeds closer to the drones they aim to intercept.
More than 1,000 people gathered in the streets of Athens Thursday to protest after Israeli forces intercepted an international flotilla carrying activists seeking to break Israel's blockade of the Palestinian territory, and detain dozens of people. According to Associated Press, protesters marched towards the Israeli embassy.
This is another war that I don't like to much talk about, but it just needs to end, because at the end of the day, innocent lives, innocent children are dying. I mean, this is something else. This is like, this one here is out of control. I think on both sides, they need to, I see that Trump is trying to get, I think Trump just negotiated for the Israeli hostages to be free. Let's just hope that that happens. And this is something that is out of control. Like I said, I don't like much talking about this right here. The Israeli-Hamas war and stuff. I'm not even following it. But this needs to end. This right here is crazy.
In Athens, with some throwing flares and fireworks in the direction of the building. The global Sumud flotilla, which was carrying a symbolic amount of humanitarian aid, said most of its vessels were intercepted or assumed intercepted after communication with those on board was lost by Thursday morning in an Israeli operation that began the night before. Petros Konstantinou from the movement United Against Racism and the Fascist Threat in Greece said the protesters were demonstrating against the act of piracy of Israel's army against the flotilla Sumud. This shows how barbaric is this state. They don't accept even humanitarian help to Gaza, and they continue the policy of genocide. We condemn our governments who support Israel, who support the suppression of the flotilla Sumud, and we stand against them, said Konstantinou. Since setting sail from Spain in early September, participants had reported 3 separate instances of being targeted by drones during the flotilla's journey toward Gaza. Spain and Italy sent their navies to escort the flotilla for a part of its journey, but had urged activists to turn back and avoid confrontation with Israel. Among the participants are Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg, former Barcelona mayor Ada Colau, Nelson Mandela's grandson Mandla Mandela, and several European lawmakers. Activists include military veterans, doctors, clergy and lawyers, and come from a range of countries in Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Asia and Latin America, as well as from Australia, New Zealand and the United States.
We're here to demonstrate against the act of piracy of Israel army against the flotilla Sumut. This shows how barbaric is this state. They don't accept even humanitarian help to Gaza, and they continue the policy of genocide. We condemn our governments who support Israel, who support the suppression of the flotilla Sumut, and we will stand against them. This is the start of a big demonstration to stop the cooperation of Greek government with Israel. Will escalate on 10 of October with a general strike.
So I would like to know, what is this side of the story? Like I said, guys, I haven't really been following this. All I see is that people getting killed left and right, people getting bombed, children's going through hell. I see a lot of hunger going on in Hamas and whatever. And I'm not taking sides. Like I said, I don't know who's right, who's wrong, but I would like to know, what is Israel's side of the story? What is the reason why Israel is not allowing humanitarian aid into that state? I mean, we're talking innocent children, we're talking innocent lives, we're talking innocent citizens. Or is it because the terrorists that are there are going to benefit and profit from that age? But if that's the case, then they should have just tried to supervise it and make sure it gets into the right hands. It's all I'm saying. I don't know. It's just, what is going on is what I want to know.
I'm here to protest, apart from the apartheid and the genocide against the Palestinian people. I'm here to protest for the illegal seize of the boats, of Greek boats, of international boats that were carrying baby formulas and medicine for the people of Gaza. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it again. If we keep going like this, we're not going to be able to put the world back the way it was. There's not going to be any turning back. I've heard videos that says that we already in World War III. If we're not, we're very close to it. We're probably about one missile away from World War III to begin. We need to start thinking, these leaders, man, and I have to speak to the leaders, these leaders that are up there, regardless of what we all think. These leaders needs to come together and say, is it worth it? Why is it that somebody's life is more important than others? I don't get it. There has to be some way that these leaders, all the world leaders, get together and say, listen, because at the end of the day, the world leaders were put there by us, by the citizens. So something's got to happen. I mean, somebody has to say, let's get together and let's stop this shit. Because where we're going, a little further, and there will be no turning back. Guys, you already know, man. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. Any donations to my channel will be greatly appreciated. My PayPal account is on the description. Love you, Ukraine. Peace, love, and God bless.